Hey guys, how's it going, Rhinne here? So I wanted to show you guys my Lotus Solo I had earlier on stream yesterday. It's a pretty big accomplishment for me. It's been something I've been working toward for a while. It's been one of my main goals since I came back about a month ago. I'm actually surprised I was able to clear it. I wasn't expecting to clear it, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Also, in the background, I'm going to be talking about the trivialization of MapleStory content. If you can't tell already, if you want, and if you don't want to listen to that, you can go ahead and mute the audio and just watch the video, put on your own music or whatever, do whatever you want. But yeah, I'm just gonna be here for pretty much background noise and be talking about something I wanted to talk about for a while. So, as you know, MapleStory is a pretty big game. It's been around for many years, but when we look at Maple, there's a lot of content in the game that just gets completely trivialized due to the fact that we just progress far too quickly. Just looking at the dimensional mirror right now, I'm looking at Friend Story, Alishan, Blackgate City, Evolab, for the most part, Hilla, Crimson Heart Castle, minus Gullix, Princess No, Twisted Aqua Road, and Alien Visitor PQ, just in the dimension mirror alone. Those things are just completely negated due to power creep in the game, and I don't like that. MapleStory has a lot of content in the game. There's actually a lot of things for you to do in the game, despite what a lot of haters try to say. Even what I say as well. I complain about it as well. It doesn't feel like there's much to do because a lot of the content has been trivialized. You have to pretty much go out of your way in order to actually go to some of the content. So much content has been completely irrelevant for so long that it's not even on anyone's radar anymore. So many things are forgotten. Like when you look at, here's a good example, like Alien PQ. Like so many people don't even understand that exists, but the Alien set for rings and stuff like that, or not the rings, the earrings and belt and helmet is pretty good. It's pretty good for gearing up your gear early on, but people don't even know about it because everyone just completely forgets about it and just rushes to endgame content due to power creep. It's kind of sad. We see bosses like Horntail being completely trivialized. See bosses like Pink Bean being killed by like level 160s when they used to be extremely difficult, and we see no revamp in sight. That's not something I like. I don't feel like that's healthy for a game. I don't like that content becomes completely trivialized. There's a lot to do in this game, but Nexon essentially made it so that way most of it is just completely skippable. Like party quests have been basically removed from the game. Now they're still in the game, but they're just so irrelevant that it doesn't even matter. Like the levels you get from party quests are basically nothing except for maybe Cheers PQ or however you say it. And even in that one you go solo. And Nexon just seems to not really care about that and just continues to pump out content rather than updating old ones, which I guess makes sense because that gets more of the player base excited, but at the same time it's kind of sad to see. Bosses such as Lotus and Damien, which used to be extremely difficult to kill, are now pretty much soloable. Granted, I can't solo Damien yet, but there are many others who can. You don't even need that big of a range. My Tyrants right now are 5 and 4 stars, and I can solo Lotus. Back before 5th job, it used to be pretty much impossible to solo Lotus unless you were extremely geared. I don't know if there's anyone in Reboot who actually soloed Lotus before a 5th job. Maybe there was, and I'm just not thinking of them, but that's besides the point. When we look at 5th job, we more than doubled our damage. That's an insane power creep. They literally took the damage we used to do and just stacked damage on damage on damage. Nodes give us more than 2 times our old damage because of the ID and stuff we get it from it. On top of having 5th job skills, on top of gearing up with that with symbols as well. So it just makes it so we have an insane amount of damage now, and bosses just become trivialized because of it. If I was still in 4th job, there'd be no way in hell I could solo this boss right now. It's sad to see that the step from Lotus or Damien to Lucid is so enormous as well. Lotus has so much trillions of HP. I think it was like, what is it, like 30? Or not Lotus. Lucid has like 30 trillion HP or something like that. I don't remember, to be honest. But the amount of damage you have to do compared to doing Lotus and Damien, which are the bosses before it, is quite disgusting. I don't understand what made Nexon think that was smart. I suppose part of it is the fact that whales are already extremely geared, so maybe downing Lucid would have been too easy for them. But at the same time, it makes it so the casual player basically never has a chance until they release other content. Not even the casual player. It makes it so like, even players like me pretty much have no chance. And I don't consider myself casual. I play games for like 10 hours a day because, no life, right? When we look at things like Silent Crusade as well, Silent Crusade used to be something that was extremely important to do in order to get the title as well as some decent accessories from. Now most people don't even know it exists. There's Mastery books in the shop and miso pouches in the shop and even a teleport ticket, and people don't even use it because they don't understand it exists. It's a great way to gear up a new character, especially if you're just starting off in Reboot, because Crusader coins are pretty easy to get. However, people just don't even think about it because it's not even mentioned. People just skip over content like this completely. I've seen in many other content, or much more content as well. It's not limited to just Alien PQ and Silent Crusade. Trivialization like this is what, in my opinion, helps ruin a game. When we see things like NLC, or rather when we look at like NLC, which is New Leaf City, for those who don't know, it's pretty interesting to go around that place and get just all the random things in there. That's where I got my Stormcaster gloves from. If you saw my Stormcaster gloves video, there's balance spheres you can get from there as well. That's where I got my Crimson Arcanine from, which is what I anviled my weapon to, or my old weapon rather. But we don't have other stuff like that in the game, and even if we did, most people would just skip over it, which is pretty lame to me. I don't like that content could be so trivialized that people don't even have it on their radars at all. Rather than updating it, Nexon seems extremely intent on just pumping out new content, which is understandable because it gives you more of a player base than actually updating content would. However, it's kind of sad to see things such as like Aqua Road being completely irrelevant. There's zero reason for you to go to Aqua Road unless you're getting a mount or you're hacking in Pioneers or something. The entirety of Aqua Road is basically irrelevant. Entire cities, essentially, in this game, entire zones, rather, are just completely irrelevant because you pretty much never travel to them. Like, the only time you go to Mulong is pretty much when you need to go do Dojo, and even then you just go from the Dimensional Mirror. You don't actually travel to Mulong. But that's pretty much the only purpose it serves. It's pretty lame to see bosses such as, like, Pink Bean and Horntail and stuff like that completely irrelevant as well. When we look at the power creep of the game and how much damage people chug out now, it's kind of disgusting. Like, my Buccaneer was able to solo Pink Bean at, I think, level 175. I had nothing for potentials on it. It was just mostly base gear. Had, like, 200k range. Granted, it took me the whole timer, but still. Like, content like that is just completely irrelevant now. If I go in there on my main, I kill it in less than a minute. And that's because I'm spending most of the time waiting for respawns on the statues. It's pretty lame to see that we've progressed so far that all this content is just irrelevant now. And even if I were to make a new account, make a new character, all this content would just become irrelevant way too quickly. In fact, it'd be even easier this time because I understand how to gear up properly. It's sad to see. It's sad to see that bosses just progress way too quickly as well. Like, there is no middle ground. It's like, well, there's easy bosses such as, like, let's say Horntail and Zakum, which may not be easy for you early on, but once you hit like 200 or so, those should be pretty much a joke to you. But then we see like the cap in how much, or rather the amount of damage you need to do other bosses is disgusting. There is pretty much no bridge between the bosses there. It's just a matter of grinding out gear. I think Empress has like 210 billion health or somewhere on there. I believe. Don't quote me on that. But she has a ridiculous amount of health compared to something like the boss before it, which was... What was even the boss before it? Von Leon? Oh, I completely even forgot Von Leon existed. Oh, there's another thing. Like, quest lines such as like Von Leon, or even like... Even ones they've revamped, such as the Mush Kingdom one, are completely irrelevant as well, because they don't give good enough rewards. They're not worth your time to actually do. Even new players completely skip over it. It's very rare that I actually see people in like Mush Kingdom if I ever go there, because it's just so irrelevant, despite even having been revamped. It's sad to see that you can get better gear than one of the bosses, that boss being Von Leon, from just monster drops. Even though Von Leon gear is only level 130 and you can get 140 Pinsala gear from monsters, I think it's still kind of sad to see that that gear is just completely irrelevant. Nexon just passed it completely. So rather than making it to mobs and bosses, were scaled to that level of power. They just made it so that way there was an insane power creep. Even things such as Empress aren't really worth your time doing unless you need the Soul Shards or Dreamstones for the Meister set. Recently, I've been playing Blade and Soul, and I feel like they had a decent system for helping alleviate this kind of thing. The super early game dungeons, such as, let's say, Black Ram Gnarls, which is the very first dungeon you even do, or party dungeon you even do, rather. They have dailies for all these things that spawn at random every day, so it's pretty much RNG. But those can land on the very early game dungeons. This makes it so you do it with new players as well, on top of just having to rerun old content in order to get good rewards. The rewards you get from them are actually good. Getting the chests, the all 4 daily chests, is really, 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 really good. It's worth your time, definitely, if you're playing the game. Obviously, Maple Story is a bit different from that. They don't really have a method of doing that because they don't really run dungeons in this game. But you can still see like dailies for like killing a certain amount of bosses or something like that. Like, let's say you do Von Leon one day, and that gets you like, let's say 100 mil miso, maybe not 100 mil, but you get the point, right? It's sad to see that they haven't even taken steps to make it so old content is relevant again. Well, I suppose they have. I should give them some credit. They've done things such as like Orbis Sector and Korean Folk Town, but there's so much content out there that is kind of sad to see. They haven't put in a system to really help, I guess, push people to do that content rather than just ignoring it completely. Like, I don't even have the Von Leon prequest done on my main because it's so irrelevant to do. It's not even worth my time. I'd rather just level it. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. I could keep going on about other content that's been trivialized, but that would just be ranting at this point. And then again, this whole thing was kind of ranting, wasn't it? So I'm going to be turning on the video audio now, so you'll be hearing what it sounded like during the stream. If you want, you can go ahead and mute that part if you want. If you want. But yeah, enjoy. And I'll see you guys later. No! No, 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 no. How dare you? You killed the king. Now you must pay for it with your life, you little fuckboy. Such a good run, too. I was kind of hoping for Deathless. I was unlucky. I got stuck in mid-animation of casting. Welcome to Brown Town, my man. I hope you enjoy your stay. Fortunately, I can't look at your name right now. I hope for obvious reasons, you know? Anyway, back to concentrating. You know if I clear this is going on YouTube, by the way. Hi, YouTube. Lucky. Whew. I just barely got that one off. Holy fuck. Is that Clutch McGee over there? I wasted my bind, though. What? What did I die to? Okay, next one. Can someone clip that and check what I died to? Because I'm actually curious. I don't want to go rewatch the VOD. So why do I feel like the fight got like 10 times harder all of a sudden? I think we did it, boys! I can kill him right now, but I'm putting him drop gear. God, that feels good. For the record, if I die like 3 times in a row here, I want the record to show that I can kill him. Okay? Please no. Actually, this is perfect timing. Oops. Fuck you. No kappa. Oh wait, spider. Spider! Ow. Ow. Ow! We did it! Fucking get dick, little bitch. God, I wanted to do that for so long.